Hey everybody, this is Jason here at RoofSnap. How are y'all doing today?
And I'm Abby.
I've got Abby with me today on our second Android roof measuring video. As many of you may know, we just released this week on Android. So you can find RoofSnap in the Google Play Store. And today we're going to go in and just kind of quickly show you how to download the app from the Google Play Store and install it on your device, and then we're going to go in and measure a roof. Sounds good?
Yep, we've got a Galaxy S5.
Yep, the first one we did was the let's see. The first one we did was the Nexus 7-inch tablet. Yep, and now we have the Galaxy S5, just a phone here, and we'll see how RoofSnap works on the small screen. Abby, let's transition over, and we're still down here in the corner, but now you should be able to see that we have the Google Play Store up, and I'll go ahead and search for RoofSnap, and there we go.
There we go.
Yep, shows right up there. We tap on the icon, and here is a little video. You can press the play button and watch if you want to learn a little bit more about RoofSnap before you install. Of course, you can come down here and see some of the different screenshots on various devices, and then of course our review, or our reviews, and our rating. Now I've already got RoofSnap installed from the Google Play Store, so for me I just have the open button, but you can go ahead and tap on the download button and install. Let's go ahead and just switch over. When you first open up RoofSnap, once you've installed it, you're going to see the login screen here. Now, if you're new to RoofSnap, you'll see right to the right of the words new to RoofSnap, there's a sign up button. And if you tap on that sign up button, it's going to open up our registration page right on our website. So as you go down through, you'll see it's going to ask for some of your information, and this registers you for our free 14-day trial. If you have any questions, you can tap on that little builder mouse and communicate with some of our helpful support persons. But from here, once you have registered, you'll set up an email address, which will be your login, and a password. So I'm going to go ahead and go right back to the login screen for RoofSnap. And let's type in my email address. And there, it's pre-populated it for me, so I'm going to go ahead and tap on that, tap on the done button. And I put my password in already, so that's good to go. Of course, if you ever forget your password, there is a link at the bottom of the login page. You can tap on that and go through the process of resetting your password. Tap on login, and it just takes a second. And the first thing that we see here,
So fast on the Android.
yeah, it's
Wow.
so fast on the Android.
Wow.
First thing we see here are all of the projects filtered by me, but I am the admin user for my account, or what you may also call your organization. So I want to show you how you can filter projects of your own, but also projects of other users within your organization. So one thing you're going to notice here is when I touch on the screen, and Abby, you might see this too. See the little white circle that's on the blue section?
Yep.
That's called my touch point, and that's actually where my finger is on the screen. If I touch it with two fingers, you'll actually see two touch points. So you can follow along and understand my gestures and my taps by where those little white circles appear. Now let's go ahead and X out the first filter, and now we're going to see all the projects in my account. And
From
then
all users. since
all
you're the
users,
admin.
yep. Since I'm the admin, I'll be able to see all users. Let's tap on the filter button here in the upper right-hand corner. So here we have the ability to filter by project status. So let's add a project status filter. I'm going to do the new lead. So we'll tap on that. Now it's just the new leads.
Nice.
Now let's filter by office. Let's say we've got residential leads, insurance leads, and maybe we also have an office out of state, another location. We can separate each of those different environments into different offices, and all of that customization happens on our website. You log in on roofsnap.com, and you can go in and customize your office settings and lots of other different settings for RoofSnap. So I do all of my work in the RoofSnap demo office. So let's tap on the RoofSnap demo office. And now we are filtering just by those two things. Now last but not least, let's do one final filter and go to the username and filter just by Katrina. There we go. So now we're only seeing items that fit all of those different filters. And this is actually brand new functionality. Even the iOS version, which has full functionality, you can filter, but you can't filter with multiple filters. So this is a really cool brand new function that only exists on the Android device.
Multi-filtering.
Yep. All right, so I do want to go back and just filter by my username, just see my projects. And then the goal for today's demo is to go in and measure a roof and change the waste percentage of that roof once we're done measuring it. Of course, we're going to label all the lines. We're going to put in all the pitch values, and then we are going to generate a measurement report. That's the goal for today. And I actually already have an address picked out. And I've got to pull it up here on my screen. Okay, so to start a new project, we're going to move our, we're going to tap down here on the little plus button in the bottom right-hand corner. And for those of you who use Android, that location, that plus button, that probably feels familiar to you. It seems to suit the design of other Android applications and things like that. So I'm going to
Similar to Google Drive.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and give this project a name. And Abby, I can never, anybody who watches my videos knows I can't type and talk, so you'll have to fill in all the areas.
Webinar Android, Webinar 4, what's he going to call it?
All right, so just webinar for Android phone.
Yeah.
And tap on the done button. And then office. So we talked about offices earlier. I need to select an office to put this into. So I want to use the RoofSnap demo office. And then keep it as a new lead. Name, let's just call it Joseph. And then the address. So we're going to go to 3649.
These are some neighbors near our office. Little do they know that we're doing a demo of their house.
Yeah, we draw houses on this street all the time.
Yeah, it's a real adorable little cul-de-sac.
And I better put in the drive just so that finds it more accurately. So I've got the street,
Yeah.
and then we'll go down to the city, and this is going to be Columbus. And let's see if it auto-populates. When I get to it's still Columbia. There it is.
Columbus, there it is, all right.
Done. City, state, OH. And then the zip.
Yeah.
I know this is grueling. It takes me a little bit on these tiny buttons to type in the address.
But it is important to always completely enter the address with zip code.
Yeah, you want to make sure you get the right street and the right city, and zip code really helps the search engines find these addresses. So if I scroll down, you'll see that I can put in phone number, email, billing information, and insurance details. And the more information I add, the more information that's going to show up on the PDF report that we ultimately generate at the end. But of course, all you really have to put in is the address. And once we have all the information put in, we tap on the Done button in the upper right-hand corner. And it thinks for just a second. And there we go. We have the new webinar for Android phone project. It's right at the top of the list. And I'm going to tap on that just to open up that project. Now I'm in the project home view. So here I can again see some of the information right at the top, and I've got 4 main tiles. The first one is the details, and that'll take me back to the screen where I can edit the different parts and pieces of information that I just put in.
That's where we just were.
Yep. The sketch, which is what I have to do next. And then I'll end up going to measurements. Can't really do anything in there yet, though, because there's no drawing, so there are no measurements. And then documents, that's the last step. And again, I can't create a document until I create measurements. So let's go in order. Let's start with the sketch, and I'll tap right here on this orange square, rectangle. And there we go. It has zoomed in using Google, has located the house, dropped a pin on it. And there's a couple things I like to do first. So you see how I have 2 white spots and I'm kind of moving them around. Those are my touch points. So I'm going to flip it upside down so that the driveway's facing down.
Yep.
That's just how I always do it. And I'm going to zoom in.
Oh, look at that patio umbrella.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much all the way. Now, this is Google's imagery. And for any of you who are familiar with Google imagery or Google Earth, you know that their imagery is typically green. And when you're on Google Earth and you're going through all of the, different areas, that green imagery, that's pretty, right? It's not the fall when everything's dead. But
it's so lush.
Yeah.
So many leaves on all those trees blocking your view of that roof.
I couldn't have said it better. It becomes a problem when you're trying to measure. We see this tree on the corner of the house, and it's blocking more than 25% of the house. It's going to make it very difficult to draw this roof accurately, especially if you're not on site, especially if you're doing this the night before from the office. If you're in the driveway, you're going to be able to probably figure out some of that stuff. But you see what else is happening here on the left side?
Oh, yeah, it's skewed there. We can see that.
We can actually see the side of the house, which means...
That's not good.
Not good. It means we're not straight overhead from the angle of the camera. So let's use a near map image. And you will see we've got this near map button in the upper left-hand corner. So it says tap here, so let's do just that. Let's tap right on near map. It's going to show us the purchase price. It's going to give us a description about near map. So near map is high resolution imagery taken from planes at a lower altitude with really sophisticated cameras, and they fly lots of different areas multiple times a year. Well, here's what that means. When we scroll down and see these available dates, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different images that are in the early spring.
Nice.
And that's what we want before the leaves before the trees start to bud and leaves start to grow. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on the purchase button.
And they were here just like 2 months ago.
Yeah, they were just here, right when we got back from the IRE. They flew that weekend. Complete purchase. So it's reminding me to be zoomed in all the way, but I'm already zoomed in all the way. So I'll tap on that button there, purchase, and tap on OK. And now we have the most recent image, which is, let's see, January, February, March 5th of 2017. And this is actually a really nice image. I can see that corner. The leaves are off the trees. The shadows aren't too bad.
You don't have the issue with that wall peeping out there. It's not skewed.
Yeah, there's just a little section here that I can't see real well because there's no contrast, where that flatter section has a step wall to that lower section. So let's see what other images are available. Now, what I just did there, if you want to switch to other dates, and frequently you'll be doing this, tap on the upper left-hand corner button that has the date, and it opens up a new window. And now let's check out the March 23rd, 2016 image. Oh, and that one's even better. All right, let's continue on. Let's check out the March 22nd, 2016. Oh, that one's good too. These are all good. Last but not least, let's go down to April 15th of 2015. So this image is about 2 years old, but even 2-year-old imagery from near map is substantially better than anything that you're going to have from Google or from Apple, any of the satellite imagery.
Yeah, their near map imagery is usually leaps and bounds better than the Google satellite of the same location.
Yep. And you'll notice sometimes as I'm rotating the image, it will sort of jump over to the Google image. But that's just because these tiles are loading on top of the Google map. So as soon as you stop rotating, it'll load back in those near map tiles. So that's just something to be mindful of. The one I like the best, I think, was 3/22, 2016. Yeah, it's got a few more contrasty spots that are going to help me draw those underhangs a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So once I have the image nice and straight, and you see how I've lined up the ridge right on the horizon line? The straighter the image, the easier it is to draw, especially on a smaller device like your phone here.
That's key to get it squared up.
Zoomed all the way in, lined up, then we tap on Snap and Start Drawing in the upper right-hand corner.
Here we go.
Yep, it's going to save this image and open it up in sort of the drawing or the sketching view. All right, so we have several different areas on this roof to draw. but I always like to start with the highest elevations, which is going to be this hipped section here. All right, so I'm going to focus a little bit. Right now you see I'm on pan and zoom, and I'm going to zoom it back out just a little bit so I can draw all these lines in a row. I'm going to be sort of playing like connect the dots, and the dots are all of the intersections of all the lines and the outside corners and all that. So now with my left thumb, on a phone at least, I'm going to tap on the draw button. And this little window here, we call this the drawer. This might be in my way at some points during measuring the roof, so if I just tap anywhere in this gray space, I can get the drawer to slide over. I'm still in the draw mode, so when I put my finger on the screen, not only can you see my touch point, but you can also see my cursor. And I'm not going to lift up this thumb the whole time. I'm going to leave it on the screen as I draw multiple lines. In order to start the first line, I'm going to tap on the screen with my other thumb. And I'm going to draw out my first line, and when I get to the end where that eave connects to that hip, I'm going to tap on the screen again. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. Now if not, you're going to see it again right now. I'm going to tap, but this time I'm just going to turn and come up the hip.
And you can see those measurements showing up along the lines.
Yep. That way, if I need to draw one side the same as the other side, I can see those measurements as I go. So let me tap on the screen again with my thumb, but I'm still, the whole time I haven't picked up my right thumb. I'm sort of just drawing all the way around. Now this time I'm going to come down that long hip. Now I don't have any place to go. I have to pick up my finger. But if I pick up my drawing finger before I tap on the screen one more time, that last line's going to disappear. Yeah. So to lock in that last line, I have to tap on the screen, and then I can pick up my drawing finger. All right, so yellow on yellow. Yellow on white is making it maybe a little difficult to see, especially in our screen share. Yeah. Honestly, I can't remember what settings we have available at this point. I know that Android will be constantly adding new features over the course of the summer, so be on a lookout, and any chance you have to update to the newest version, please update the app because we're going to be adding new functionality throughout the next 6-12 months. In the settings, okay, this is what I wanted to show you. So in the settings, I can I can slide my cursor settings to change the offset. So if I'm left-handed, I can slide the vertical offset, that would be the horizontal offset over to a positive number and get the cursor to go to the other side. Same thing with the vertical offset. If I have it positive, it'll be higher than my finger. If I have it negative, it'll be lower than my finger. And it's all about comfort there. Once you've moved these around, then you can scroll down. Of course, you can reset it back to default, but I'm going to hit the done button here and save any changes. All right, now I'm going to zoom back in. And I want to show you how we can connect 2 points that already exist because lines have already been drawn there, right? So let's switch back to the draw button. And I'm going to set my cursor on the bottom of that of the eave at the top of the screen, right? The left side. And you see when I touched it, let's draw it again. Well, let's show them 2 things. And I'm going to zoom in even further. So the first thing is when I put my cursor on the line and let it sit there for a second, see how it got smaller and I think it turned blue? It actually picks up that point. And there, when I get it back to where I want it, I could tap on the screen again and just kind of lock it there. Nice. Okay, now let me zoom back out a little bit. Now this time, I'm going to put my cursor on that point, and as soon as it snaps, I'm going to tap on the screen. I didn't tap, I just kind of bumped it. So as soon as it gets there, I'm going to tap on the screen. Sorry guys, it's the size of the phone. I always recommend using a tablet for RoofSnap whenever possible. Okay. So let's start from up here. Maybe I can get it a little better. There we go. I tap to start the line and I'm going to connect it to there. Now it's okay that I don't have it perfectly lined up, especially on a small device. You're probably going to spend a little bit of time at the end of your drawing just moving your points back out to their outside corners and just sort of refining the drawing a little bit. And that's okay.
Clean up.
Hey, this is a tiny little screen, guys. I've got big thumbs. You know, I'm doing the best I can here. All right, so let's draw. You see how it snapped to that line? Yeah. And I pull it in to the bottom of that valley. And I'm always switching between pan and zoom and draw. So every time I reposition,
lots of panning and zooming on the phone.
Yeah, absolutely, because you can't do it all in a zoomed out. You can't get as close. All right, so now I'm going to finish up this upper story section. I'm going to come down the hip. Remember, tap to start the line, tap at the end of the line. Then you can continue, and when you get to a closing point, tap again. Now I've got to come up this eave to the bottom. Oh, I didn't tap. There we go. Come up this eave to the bottom of the valley. Tap one more time. Come up to the top of the valley where it meets the ridge and tap one last time. Now that upper section is completely drawn. I might straighten it up a little bit, but I want you to notice, Abby, when I tap on facets here. Of course, the drawer is a little bit in my way here, so let's tap on the gray space and move the drawer over. But you see all of those facets that I've drawn completely all the way around, they're shaded.
All closed in.
Yep, that lets us know that they've been drawn correctly. Well, that they've been closed in. We still have to refine them a little bit. We still have to label the lines. None of these measurements are going to be accurate until we put in pitch.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead, pan and zoom. I'm going to zoom back into this little troubling outside corner here. Move it up. And you notice with this high resolution, I can actually see the gutters. And my methodology has always been to draw, because I've used RoofSnap for years. Even before I worked here, I used RoofSnap to, oh, you know what? I got a little rogue line in there. I must have accidentally bumped it. So let's show them how to delete a line. Two ways to delete a line. You can tap on the undo button, which you can see here in the left corner when you're in the draw mode, and it will undo the last line that you drew. But what if there's a line that I drew 10 lines ago? I don't want to undo all of them.
You don't want to erase the whole thing. No.
No, go to edges. Scroll down through all of the different edge labels, and you'll see the delete edge button. Tap on that, and then tap on the line that you want to delete. There, that little baby line went away.
Easy peasy.
Yep. Now we go back to draw. Press and hold on that point, slide it over, and then tap on the screen to lock it in.
He likes to draw in the center of the gutters.
Yeah, center of the gutters. Did I not finish that thought?
You didn't, but I've heard him say it enough.
Well, I used to draw a lot of roofs for commercial re-roofing and replacement applications, a lot of multifamily and commercial apartment buildings, condominium complexes, stuff like that. And RoofSnap was my measurement preference. I felt like drawing it myself and double checking measurements on site was far more accurate than relying on some third party to draw the roof for me. They didn't care about the accuracy as much as I did. I could spot check from the ground and make sure that my measurements in RoofSnap were consistent with the field measurements I was taking on site. That was important to me, and still is. You may have wondered why I just drew this line past. Well, you know, this is
we got an overhang.
We do. We've got an overhang. It's a lower section meeting an upper section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this overhang situation by drawing it up underneath where the valley meets the eave and just make a little connector line right there. And then I'm going to finish. This is kind of like a pitch change here. So you know what? If that is a pitch change, I'm going to have to delete the last line. You know, let's use the undo button this time. Undo, undo, undo again. There we go. So let me draw the pitch change in first. So we come over here, draw the pitch change in, bring it past. Now we'll draw up and connect it to there, and then we'll draw down, connect it to right there. And I think that pitch change just moved a hair, so let's move it back. There we go. If you have an Android tablet, you can install in the exact same way on your Android tablet. If you've got like a Samsung Galaxy 10-inch tablet or something like that, it's going to be easier to draw a complex roof on a larger screen. But if you have, if you have a phone and you want to give it a shot, sometimes I'm all thumbs. That was a courtesy laugh from Abby. It wasn't that funny. No. All right, so we just have a few sections to finish up here.
Can we check our facets again?
Yeah, you want to see how that overhang looks when we actually draw it in? There we go. So the overhang of the facets that are completed will be double shaded.
Nice.
and that lets us know it's accounting for the layer above and the layer below.
Yeah.
We're not going to run short on material if we have these huge overhangs. You know what? When you have big overhangs and you're drawing this from a remote location, wouldn't it be nice if you could see it from the ground level to kind of get an idea of how big the overhangs are?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at that. You know, we haven't talked yet about reference images. You know, they keep popping up when we go to draw and we open up the drawer.
They're right there in that drawer.
Yeah. Now, Zillow, I'm not going to mess with Zillow right now. You know, it's something where you can go in and you can find information about the property, but it doesn't necessarily help us draw. Bing's bird's eye view, on a phone, it's going to go directly to Bing. I don't think that they have the bird's eye view functionality on the Bing website on a phone, because again, it goes to the mobile site.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna bother with that right now. But the Google Street View,
Good old Street
this
View.
is going to open it up right in a web view, right in the app. It's loading. There we go. And the cool thing on Android phones is there's a big truck there. As you move the phone around, it actually moves the angle of the camera.
Look at it go. Wow, I had no idea it did that.
And there's the house. So once I get on the house here, so that everybody doesn't get dizzy, I'm just going to tap on this little phone button here. See, I'll tap on it a couple times there on the right.
Oh, and that'll hold the place
Yeah.
for you.
And then it'll hold it in
Excellent.
place, and now I can just move the camera there just by kind of putting my finger on the screen and moving it around.
Technology, wow.
So those are giant overhangs. Do you see those? Those are like 2 feet overhangs.
Yeah, that's real wide.
So I think I might
Hip
want to
there.
even consider increasing my overhangs if I was drawing for production. For the demo today, I'm not going to go in and spend the time moving them all in, but you know, with such large overhangs like that, being able to see that in Street View is going to be helpful. All right, so you can navigate here in Street View and move around and see different, different views, front views of the house, street views of the house. I'll go ahead and tap on the Done button. Brings me right back into my sort of drawing, sketching screen.
Nice.
Let's slide that bar over again. And let's finish drawing up the roof. So I've got 3 lines to draw here on the back, plus a little connector line. So let's come down the rake, tap to start the line, tap to make the turn. I didn't pick up my drawing finger. And keep going
Thumb.
past.
Drawing thumb in this case.
Yes, that is true.
Oh, so we got another little overhang bit.
Yep. And then a little connector line right there. All right. Move that down. And then let's see. We saw in the other view that this comes up to a pitch change. And it comes up, I can see it, if the resolution of this video that you're watching on YouTube isn't quite as high as the screen that I'm viewing, you may not be able to see the slight little change there for that pitch change line. But I can see it. On a white roof, it may be difficult as well. And then again, another underhang. So I'm going to come down, and that cursor tail, see the cursor tails that go left and right and up and down from my cursor itself? That's helping me try to keep these lines straight. So when I saw that cursor tail was level, then I drew the line straight over from there. Okay, we've got, again, 3 more lines, including the little connector to finish up this roof. So we'll come to the outside corner here, come across the eave. Oh, 4 lines.
One more.
Come up the little step wall here, and this is going to connect right in the corner of the little pitch change. So we make the little connection, and there we go. Now a little bit of fine tuning, not much, but I want to come back and press and hold for about a second, pick up that spot, move it over.
Get that squared up with those
Yep.
cursor tails.
And I'm just going to pan and zoom around and make sure everything looks pretty good. I think this is a little too far outside the gutter here, and it wasn't exactly parallel with my step wall, so I'll bring that in.
Yeah.
Great, so all the lines are drawn. When you get to this point where all the lines are drawn, you want to go to facets and make sure that everything is shaded. Uh-oh. I know what I missed. There's a little connection here. I have to finish drawing this up and connect it to the bottom of the gutter. Forgot about that spot right there. I get that last little connector line?
No.
Oh. That's why you can zoom in. Oh. There we go. It's like driving a new car. The tap's a little bit different than the tap on the iOS, but it's still a good tap. There's no problem with the tap. I just I have to get used. Yeah, I have to get used to it.
Some finesse, if you will.
All right, now we go to facets, and everything is shaded in blue and calculated.
Blue.
That's what we're looking for. So now let's label up all the edges. And for any of you roofers out there, or any of you salesmen out there who have drawn a roof on graph paper or ordered a measurement report, you know that different colored lines represent different edges. And we want to start with the eave edges, and there's quite a few of them. So I tap on eaves, and you see how there's a little arrow to the right of the eave. That lets me know there's something else there. It instructs me to sort of tap it again. Now let's add sublabels. This gives us more information about the drawing. Let's put ice and water shield at the eaves. Let's put eave edge, which is our designation for drip edge, at the eaves. And let's add gutters as well. Now slide that little window over by tapping in the gray space, and each line that I tap on, anywhere, you could tap anywhere on the line. If it's close to another line, you might want to zoom in a little bit. So right now we're just going to tap on all of the line edges.
And you see those letter codes still on the right side there to let you know all those sub-labels are active currently as you're tapping.
Yep, absolutely. Hit the back button and go to rakes. Now I tapped on rakes a second time. I don't need ice and water shield on the rakes, but I am going to add rake edge, which is our designation again for drip edge metal. Slide that over and begin to tap on all my rake edges. Now, quite a few of my rakes are really close to other lines. I think I can get, yep, I got that one there on that back section. But I'm going to wait. I'm going to do my hips and ridges and my valleys before I finish those other lines.
Yeah, and then we'll zoom in.
Yep, so let's open the drawer back up, hit the back button, go to ridge, tap on ridge a second time, and grab the ridge vent. Close the drawer, tap on the two pieces of ridge. Go back to the drawer and tap on it to open it up. Go down to hips. There are no sub-labels on hips, but in this case, the hips do apply.
The hips stand alone.
And I think there's just the 4. Now we've got 2 pitch changes and at least 2 valleys. So let's grab valley. Let's tap on valley a second time, add the ice and water shield. And it's pretty accurate. I mean, like I didn't have much to tap on there. Oh, that's not a valley. That's a pitch change.
You jinxed yourself.
That was intentional. I just thought I had a valley. Pitch change. Ice and water shield in the pitch change too. Yeah. What this is going to do, since we're putting ice and water shield in all these different locations,
there you go.
It's going to create a running total of how much ice and water shield we need for the whole job. That's the benefit here of adding these sub-labels. All right, so finally just some rakes and some step walls. So let's zoom in on this section here. I think it's good. I mean, it's not perfectly straight, but I think it's good enough for what we're doing today. We've got an eave on the left.
Good enough for government work, as my dad always says.
Now, when I highlight eaves again, you see how it remembers the sublabels.
Yeah,
Don't have to go in and pick them again.
Nice.
And then I've got a rake. It remembers the rake edge. I've got a little apron wall there, a horizontal wall. So let's go down to wall, and let's tap a second time and grab the apron flashing and some ice and water shield and tap on that. Then the last one we haven't actually used yet is step. So let's go to step, tap on it a second time, grab our step flashing and our ice and water shield. And we have step there. We have another little step there, and that little connector line, I always just make it step. I'm going to have to zoom in on it, though, because it's such a tiny little line.
Fat fingers.
There we go. Back to edges, and it still has the step,
Nice.
so I don't have to select it.
Got it.
Zoom back out. And let's go get this little guy here. This is also step and a little step wall connector. So we'll just label those. And it remembered. No, we've got all this stuff here in the front. So we've got an eave edge and step going up the side. So let's go to edges. Let's do the step first, which is the inside, the line on the right, and the one above after the pitch change, and the little connector, which you know I'm going to have to zoom in on that. But let's go ahead and zoom in. Oh, I bumped it. All right, let's still zoom in. Do a couple things in here. Okay, so let's grab this, reposition it. You can always go back in and reposition things. Go to edges. That little connector is step. And then the eave edge is that one there. And I'll tell you, this phone actually is, it's a little warm. You can tell there's some processing power in this device. So, and that's a really good point. If you're using a very inexpensive device with a very slow processor, you're going to experience massive performance issues in not just RoofSnap, but in any app that does a complicated functionality. You need a good processor, you need a good device. If you're using a $79 tablet that you got on, I shouldn't say anyone in particular, right? Just some website that ships in
one of those internet websites.
Items, you know, from places where the cost is really low.
Deliver it with a drone.
But you know what I'm saying. You're not going to get the performance from a cheap device that you will from a device with good hardware. Got the rake and the last step and the zoom in and the final step. All right, so we can zoom all the way back out because we have all the lines. Now, one of the things that you're going to check when you get on site is the pitch. You know, when we were in Street View, we were able to get a sense of the pitch. It looked like somewhere around a 612 for the primary slopes, and these front and backs are probably around 412 under the pitch change, or maybe 312. But I'm not going to worry about guessing the pitches right now, because the customer, our customer, the person using RoofSnap out in the field to draw, to measure for their estimates, will be able to check pitch on site. But let's go to facets, because we do have some different facet labels. Right now everything's 0, and we cannot leave it at 0. The measurements will not be correct if it stays at 0. So let's open the drawer. Let's go to pitch first. I'm going to start at 612. Highlight it, see it loaded it in the little gray bar. I'm going to slide it over, and I'm going to get all the main sections 6. And you see when I tap on them, the whole facet kind of flashes. And that's good. That lets us know that we actuated it and we turned it to 6. And then that front and back section, I'm going to call those 3. So let's open the drawer back up, go to 312, close the drawer, tap on the back one, tap on the front one, and we've got 3.
Nice.
And we're just going to leave it at that.
Oh, look at that line label.
What happened? Did I bump it? Must have bumped it. It's a valley. Good call. Good eyes. Good color vision. So it's easy enough. We go back in and just tap it and label it as valley.
Perfect.
Doesn't take long to fix, little lines and stuff like that. In the facets mode, though, however, we have a few more things we can do. Tap on the back, and there's a remove. So if you have an area of roofing that it turns out is not going to be replaced, you could tap on the remove button, and then tap on that facet, and you could turn it off, and it'll unhighlight it. Tap on it again in the exact same spot, and we are tapping right on the label of the facet.
Yeah, right on
If you
that
tap
number.
over left of the label, that's not going to work. You do have to tap right on the number because, again, these are large areas, and that number is where the actuator is. 2-story, if you have sections for 2-story that you want to label, especially if this relates to insurance work. Once you inspect the roof, if you've got multiple layers or 2 layers on the roof, you can label different sections that have 2 layers. And then low slope. Low slope is a very important label. It doesn't just mean that it's flat or literally low slope. It means RoofSnap is going to calculate this area separately from the rest of the roof and show its value as a separate calculation. This is convenient for when you're going to put rubber or membrane or some sort of a non-shingle product on low slope sections of the roof. So use low slope when you're putting a different material on that low sloped area.
Non-shingles.
Non-shingles. And then lastly, if you have a dormer on the roof, you want to label all facets of a dormer as dormer. The reason is RoofSnap doesn't know if there's shingles beneath a dormer unless you tell it that it's a dormer, and then it'll separate out and subtract out.
So it's not double counting that
Exactly.
area.
It won't double count above and below. Thanks for your... Abby's more concise than I am.
I'm his translator.
I'm going to tap on it again, though, to remove the dormer label, because, again, it doesn't apply. We don't have any dormers on this roof. But now we're at a point where all the facets are highlighted. We see the double
we've got the
shading.
pitch labels.
Yep. All of our lines are labeled with sub-labels, and that's going to give us lots of information now on our measurements and on our measurement report. And we can go ahead and tap on the Done button. This is, of course, saving the project, processing all of those calculations, and when we tap on the green tile under measurements, it's going to open up and we can review all those measurements. Now the default waste percentage is always going to be set at 10, but this had a lot of complexity. It had a lot of hips, so I'm going to change it to 15. Tap on the Done button. Now it's recalculated. The actual squares before any waste is 29.82, 15% waste, total squares at 34.3. So if you just need your measurements and you're going to be, putting them into your estimating platform or an Excel spreadsheet, you can take them right off here. But frequently, customers need to email measurements to an insurance adjuster or their crew or their production manager. So I want to show you how to email these measurements out. First, of course, we can review all the different measurements. And I'm just scrolling down through all of the different pieces and parts here. But when I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and tap on the back arrow button in the upper left-hand corner. Oh, I accidentally tapped on it twice. That's fine. It brings me back to our project.
Happy here.
But everything's saved, so it's okay. Let's just reopen the project again. Yep. Go down. We still have the measurements. I'm going to open the measurements back up. It's still at 15%.
Perfect.
So go back. And now we go to documents. Documents are where we're going to generate a PDF of the measurements that you can then email out to whoever. So to generate a sketch report, you tap on Sketch Report in the upper right-hand corner. Time for a coffee break. There it goes.
Oh, there it is.
Yep, so you'll see here we already created the sketchreport.pdf. Let's tap on it and open it up. There we go. So if you've gone into roofsnap.com and logged in, you can upload your own logo. And if you've done that, your logo will appear on this document. But as you scroll down, you'll see the primary image appear here on the screen, along with all the contact information.
Nice.
Breakdown page of your pitch values, all your measurements and all of your measurement labels and everything.
All those colored lines.
Yep. Looks really sharp. And then all of the categories. So your squares, your total with 15% waste, all of your line measurements and category measurements. So because we put ice and water shield at the steps, at the walls, at the valleys, and in the eaves, it's calculating that we need 324 linear feet total. So again, the benefit of getting a running total of some of these other parts and pieces. Breakdown by pitch, and then a final page here of the breakdown of the roof by area. And let's see, let's go up to the top. This is a Google function here, that little Google Drive. If we tap on that, it'll save it right to Google Drive. But I'm going to tap on the little 3-dotted line on the far right. And then I'm going to tap on Send File, see what that does. There we go. So we can open it in Gmail, we can open it in Bluetooth, iCloud, or
whatever
the cloud.
Connected apps you may have.
Yeah, let's just use, let's just use Gmail.
Okay.
Yes, let's give it permission. And there we go. So it's going to give us a attached PDF right in our email client.
Perfect.
And then we're all ready to send. So you just put in your email address and hit the send button and you're all good to go. Now I'm going to jump back in and let's see. It's probably going to auto save. Okay, we're back here in the sketch report. Hit the back button, go back to Project Home. And then the 3 lines on the left, when we tap on that, it's going to open up some of the features that we are in the process of building. So be on the lookout for the project map, which again is coming soon. And of course a dashboard that we have in the works, which is also coming soon. And settings, more settings options.
Make sure you update frequently so you get these features as they're rolled out.
Absolutely. Update the app as frequently as those updates become available. And last but not least, we'll log out. There we go.
Snap.
There it is. So thanks everyone for joining us. We really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch our tutorial videos. I'm Jason here at RoofSnap.
And Abby.
And as I always say, if you want to see another video, we're going to put one right here. And if you like what we're doing, please subscribe to our channel. we'll put it right there. And if you want to sign up for a 14-day trial on our website, let's see. We'll put it right there. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.